There are several topics which you have to take into account during concept phase, during implementation. One of those, for example, is a very high complexity in a lot of field service organizations. So you have to make sure that quite high complexity in processes is taken into account, that quite high complexity in optimization scenarios is taken into account. Another example would be the organization itself. One of the most important things in a project like those, how we are conducting them, is to make sure that the change in the organization is conducted in a good way, that everybody in the organization is taken with us on the course through the project and is included in changing the way they will work in the future and the way their business basically is been done. Another very important topic is we are operating in an operating business. So basically, normally we don't have new field services which we implement from scratch. We are working in a running business. So this is sometimes bringing some challenges where we have measures to counter them. And then the last thing is the heritage, because, for example, data quality is often a topic in projects like ours where we have to look into and then quite early start working on data quality, data import, etc. There's three topics I would like to highlight. First of all, it is expectation, because a system like ours is not implemented in basically one stop in terms of we're just implementing that and then the optimization runs perfect, because we are able to implement quite complex optimization scenarios, and this is not done in a one-stop journey. You have to iterate that. So you're starting with a setup, with a configuration parameterization, and then over time we optimize that in several iterations together with the customer. Second thing I would like to look into is the availability of internal resources on customer side, because it is super important for the project to run good and smooth, that everybody which we need in the project is actually available and has time for the project. This is important for knowledge reasons, but this is obviously also important for change management reasons. And then the third point I would like to highlight is the integration into other leading systems, like, for example, an ERP system on customer side. And this has to be taken into account quite early in the process, because it also needs resources, like the second topic. And it also needs knowledge, because we have to make sure that we can integrate in a lean way, in a fast way, and that needs some preparations. So our projects are all about additional values for our customers, like, for example, reduction in kilometers or an easier dispatching process. And so we are focusing on delivering these values as soon as possible. And we are normally doing that by an iterative process, like, for example, starting with a pilot, starting with MVPs. And in these iterations, we are focusing on prioritizing the most important, most valuable items as soon as possible and bringing them into the organization as soon as possible, because that helps us mitigating risks in the course of the process due to this agile iterative process. So we are able to go live as soon as possible and, as I said, mitigate the risks through the course of the project. Since 2 years we are using a new project method which is called half double. It's coming from Denmark, and we are quite successful with using that because it brings a lot of advantages to us. Half double consists of three main areas, which are leadership, impact and flow. And those three quite good describe why we are so successful with that project methodology, because impact heavily focuses on what is the desired impact on customer side and how we can achieve that impact in terms of the solution being based on that impact. Leadership does what it says. So in this area we have methods and tools which focus on being quite close to our customer, leading him through the project. It's based on different roles which have a clear interaction with each other and clear leadership principles throughout the project. And then last but not least, flow basically focuses on delivering the desired impact as soon as possible. For example, by implementing high-intensity projects, working very close together with the customer and just making sure that the flow always keeps up in the project. And so this brings quite lean and quite fast projects to us. So I would like to highlight 3 things on that. It's clear roles in the project, because from our perspective it is very important that in a project team everybody knows what their responsibilities and tasks are. So for example, we normally have a project lead on both sides. So there's a project lead on our side and one on the customer side, and they work quite close to each other, and it's super important that they have a clear speech with each other. Then there's another role which is also coming from Half Double, which is called the project owner, which normally on customer side is the sponsor of the project, and on our side comes from the management team. And they have the task and the responsibility to basically oversee the project on a higher level, and to keep communication on that level to make sure that everybody's smooth and running. Second point, I already said the word communication. Communication is crucial in the project. So if we maintain a good, open and a transparent communication in a project, this is one of the key aspects to make sure that a project is running in a good way. And then the last one, and this is often not really forgotten, but not really taken into account, is a good culture in the project, because project teams with a good culture, with a good mood in the team, tend to have more successful projects, and more successful projects, and therefore we highlight that topic quite a lot in our project meetings, and it starts in the kick-off meeting, where we really try to successfully implement a good culture in our projects. So basically, the milestone which marks the start of the usage of our software is the go live. But a go live normally does not mark a experienced and regular usage of the software. So basically we have to go on with stabilizing the usage, making sure that everybody sticks to the new processes we implemented. And in this course, often we found some points which do not work as we intended them to work out. And then it is super important also in the course of change management, because change management does not stop with the go live, it goes on, to take that feedback in an account and do changes to the implementation, to the processes. And then in this course, the handover to our support team starts and is done. And for this team, it is super important to not only understand what functionalities, what capabilities we implemented in the course of the project, but to understand which values we delivered and how to work with those values and how to make sure that those values persist throughout the whole lifetime. So now the customer is live with our product. They are experienced in using it, they are successful in using it, it brings values to them. And now it's all about having a good collaboration over the following times. And we are having our key account management team, which accompanies the customer in creating strategies and evolving strategies. And we have our customer success management team, and they are responsible on the one hand for understanding the value we wanted to achieve and we achieved in our projects, and to basically process that value further on, and to always challenge and test this value, and to understand where we need to change, where we can further enhance the software or our products, but also the implementation on customer side, and to find good ways how we can make our customers even more successful with our software, and how we can make our software even more valuable for our customers. Especially in Germany, there's one, I'd say, heritage we are having from software projects over the last, 20, 30, 40 years, which is we are not really looking into the value we would like to create. We are looking into the requirements we have towards our suppliers. And my recommendation would be to not do that, to start with the additional values I would like to achieve with those projects, and to have a good understanding what I would like to change in the course of the project. What should be better as soon as the project is finished. And so this is my recommendation, to start with that. And as soon as this is done, it is good, and it helps if there's also a good understanding on the requirements. But this is something where we can help with. But for us, super important is to have a good understanding what is the additional value our customers would like to achieve with the projects we are doing together.